What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the 10 Horse Monty YouTube channel, and today's episode is going to be about jerkbaits. How deep do the jerkbaits go? I did a video recently on jerkbaits where I got out there on the lake with LiveScope, threw a bunch of different jerkbaits, jerked them down just to see how deep they ran. Now that test was done strictly on 10-pound fluorocarbon. Today we're going to kind of repeat the test but expand on it. I'm going to throw these jerkbaits on 10-pound fluorocarbon. I'm also going to throw them on 10-pound mono. Both lines have the same measurement. I'm throwing Berkley Trieve XL 10-pound mono. It has a diameter of 0.011. For the fluorocarbon, I'm throwing the Cigar Basics, the 101, and it also has a diameter of 0.011. So same diameters. The only difference is mono versus fluorocarbon. All right, we're going to throw these baits today. These are some of the most popular baits out there. This is the Strike King J300. This is deep diver. We've got the Smithwick Rogue. Man, that's old school. Still catches them. Got the Lucky Craft SP100. We've got the MegaBass Vision 110. Got a Berkeley Stunna 112. We've also got the Berkeley Stunna 112 Plus One. We have the Sense Provoke 106, and then we also have the Spro Mix Stick. This is going to be tedious, but I'm really curious. If you didn't see the last video I did where I'm jerking them down on fluorocarbon, go check that out. These things run really deep on fluorocarbon. That fluorocarbon sinks, and the longer you let it sit, the more it pulls down. The mono's going to float / suspend, so it's not going to affect the depth of the jerkbait as much. So I'm going to jump up on the front of the boat, and we're going to test these suckers out. See what happens. Okay, something that I didn't do on the last video, sorry, that sun's probably in your face. Something I didn't do on the last video is I didn't have a grid overlay. So we're coming in here and we have this grid overlay option. I'm going to put that grid overlay so that way we can really see how deep this jerkbait is running. These lines, you know, represent every 2 feet, so we'll get a better idea of exactly what's going on down there. The first bait we're going to start with is the Lucky Craft SP100, and all these baits are going to be fastened to the line with a snap. So it's going to be each setup is going to have the snap, the fluorocarbon, and the mono. Let's throw this thing out, see what happens. I'm trying to make about a 30-foot cast, and I'm going to start tracking it at about 50 foot. Try to be consistent, try to make the same kind of cast, because once again this fluorocarbon pulls that bait down. And we're just going to reel it a couple times. We're going to give it a couple twitches and just let it sit. Okay, there it is. It's coming. We're out there about 40 feet, and it's running about 8 feet deep. Got a bunch of fish down there too. So it's one to stay around 8. You know, as you let it sink, it's going to get down there a little bit deeper. Let's put it on the mono and see what we get. All right, we're going to throw this SP100 on the mono, 10-pound mono. Let's make a cast, see how much distance we get. I'm thinking it's going to stay up about another, I don't know, I think it's going to stay up a couple feet from the fluorocarbon. I am running the LVS 32. And bait's got to get a little bit closer before I can pick it up. There it is. It's coming in pretty good now. Looks like it's down there about almost 8, so we're right here. There we go. Okay, we're about 7. It's kind of holding around 7. It's wanting to sink slightly. So I'm saying it's about a foot shallower. That's what I would say. So you're losing about a foot with the mono versus the fluorocarbon. All right, let's tie up another one. All right, let's try this 6 Sense 106 Provoke, the Provoke 106 jerkbait. I think it's supposed to get down there around 4 to 6, and this is on monofilament. Reel it a couple times and give it a little jerky. There it is. It's down there about 6. Almost 7. get down there close to 7. Yeah, really 6. Okay, so the 6 Sense Provoke, I'm calling it like 6 foot, maybe just a hair deeper on the mono. Let's try it on fluorocarbon. All right, here we go, fluorocarbon. See what happens. A nice cast. It's crazy that these beavers over here at this beaver pile going crazy. And Finley, it's driving Finley nuts. Okay, reel it down, give her a couple of jerks. Where's it at? There it is. It's coming in. It's down there about 7. Interesting. Yeah. So about 7 really. Not getting as much depth, and you know, a lot of this has to do with the way this thing's weighted. See when those fish grab it. Thought about it. Okay, I'm calling that about 7. So not much difference for whatever reason on the 106 Provoke. So 6 to 7 foot, pretty consistent. Water temp is on the Lowrance is 44.9, and on the Garmin is 43.58. So 43 to 45 degree water temp, which is typical jerkbait water. All right, let's try the next one. All right, next we got the Berkeley Stunna 112. We'll also be testing the 112 plus one, and this is on the mono. We're gonna start with the mono first. Now this is a slow sink bait. There it is. It's hanging out there about 6 on the mono. Yep. It's hanging out there about 6. And it's definitely wanting to come up. Once we get about 30 feet from the boat, it's wanting to rise, and that's because that mono has not sagged like the fluorocarbon does. It's coming up pretty quick. All right, let's try the fluorocarbon on the Berkeley Stunna 112. It's a good little bait. Really good little bait. All right, here we go. Fluorocarbon Stunna 112. Same cast. Getting out there about 70, 80. Reeling it down. Giving it a couple jerks. And this fluorocarbon is going to pull it down, so I'm going to let it pause for about 5 seconds. Kind of letting these things pause for somewhere around 5 seconds. Just try to keep it consistent. Okay, there it is. It's down there. There's the jerkbait. See, it's down there about 8, 9. Yeah, we're looking at 8 to 9, and it's definitely, you can see that fluorocarbon pulling it down. I just wanted to pull it down. Let's see. If you let it sink, it's going to get down there by 10. It's going to keep on going. There we go. So things are getting down there 8 to 9 on the fluoro. About a 2 foot difference, fluoro versus mono. All right, let's try the next one. All right, here we go. The Berkeley Stunna 112 plus one. A little bit bigger bill. Let's see if that bigger bill makes it get down there. We're throwing it on fluorocarbon. So we're gonna make about a 70 foot cast. Crank her down a little bit, and then just give it a couple twitches. Let it sit for about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Give it a touch. Okay. Okay, there it is. It's down there about 10. So you're getting an extra foot or so out of it. Let's find it again. There it is. It's definitely hitting that 10, no problem. It's hanging around 10. Got some bait fish down there. Alright, we're calling that one 10 footer. Alright, let's put it on mono and see what we come up with. swap this sucker out. This is tedious. It's tedious. It's hard to not be fishing right now. All right, here we go. Berkeley Stunna 112 plus one on mono. Mono cast good, man. It's kind of tricky because there's so many little bait fish swimming around. This water is really stained. It's hard to pick up your actual bait. Okay, there it is. Right in here. We're coming in at about 7 on the mono. Yeah. 7, maybe 8. Yeah, it's one to kind of get down there around 8. This is a slow sink, so the longer you let it sit, the more it's going to sink. Yeah, I'm calling that about 8 on mono. So definitely a difference. Alright, let's try the next one. I'm seeing a pattern here, guys. I'm seeing a pattern. You're getting about 1.5 to 2 foot more depth out of fluorocarbon, which is what you would expect. But it's fun to just test it, just to make sure what we've always thought is actually what's going on, because that's not always true. Alright, we're going to try the Rich Man's Jerkbait. This is the MegaBass Vision 110. And we are throwing it on fluorocarbon right now. One of the best casting jerkbaits, hands down. And one of the best jerkbaits. You get what you pay for. There's a lot of good jerkbaits out there. And this one's a pretty good one. It just costs 25 bucks. But just buy a few colors. Don't hit them against docks or anything, you'll be fine. Let's see where we're at. Okay, there we are. We're coming in at 6 foot right here. The jerkbait right there. 6 to a little under 6, and this is with fluorocarbon on about a 70-foot cast, and it's sinking slowly. That fluorocarbon's pulling it down. Of course, we've got a snap on there, so you guys that are tying direct, it's not going to get pulled down quite this much, but it is slowly sinking. But it's getting to get down there around 8. It's definitely staying down there deeper. Even as we get closer to the boat, it still wants to stay down there at 8. That fluorocarbon's keeping it down. So, you know, 8 foot fluorocarbon. Let's try it on the mono. By the way, I don't have a split ring on this one. I took the split ring off for whatever reason, just for reference. All right, mono. Let's see what goes on with this mono. MegaBass Vision 110 on mono. There it is. So we're at 6. We're right here. We just came through that cluster of fish. Kind of holding right there at 6. Yep. So if you were wanting to, you know, if you're going to be fishing really shallow with this jerkbait, put this sucker on like 14, 15 pound mono, and this bait's going to stay up there about 4 feet, which is a good depth. A lot of times when you get really stained water in the spring and those fish are kind of slid up there. So there we go. MegaBass Vision 110. Next. Alright, next we got an old school legend. This is the Rattlin Rouge, made by Smithwick, and I took the split ring off of there a while back. You know, I've just kind of weighted these based on different conditions, and that's something you got to do every time you jerkbait fish. You got to reweight them and check, because it's going to change as the water temperature changes. It's going to change. So we're throwing this on fluorocarbon. Let's get it out there and see what we come up with. A little bit harder to throw. Not too terribly bad. As long as you don't have wind, you can throw this Rogue, no problem. You get a little bit of wind and it wants to kind of biscuit out, frisbee out, and it gets a little bit sketchy. So we'll see what we got here. Remember, right, this was one of the best shining baits on the LiveScope on the last test. Had a really good glow to it. There it is. It's down there about 6.5, maybe 7. It's down there about 7. See it right there, right at about 45 feet. And it definitely comes in better than that McStick. That fluorocarbon's pulling it down. It's getting down there about below 8 now. Slowly pulling it down. So I've got this, it's kind of sinking obviously. If you were to tie directly to a split ring, it's not going to fall. But it's, you know, even though it's sinking, you can kind of tell that it's wanting to stay down there around 8. If we can pick up some of that fluorocarbon, you know, probably around 8. I'm saying this Rogue gets down there about 8. So let's try it on the mono, see what we come up with. All right, Smithwick Rogue on mono. I know this is tedious, guys, but I'm hoping this information will help you out. Give me a thumbs up if you appreciate the content, and please subscribe. Consider subscribing. It's a way to get back to the channel, a way to support the channel, because man, it's hard to sit out here and go through all these jerkbaits. I want to be fishing. The sun's getting ready to set, but I'm doing this because I'm curious and some people asked for it, so that's what we're doing. Let's throw this sucker out. This is a Smithwick Rogue, and we're throwing this thing on monofilament. It still casts pretty good. It's amazing. If you're in the wind, it's not your friend with a Rogue, but sitting out here in a flat, calm surface, it's not that big a deal. Just reel it down, give it a couple tappies. Where's she at? There she is. So we're down there at 6, the mono. And it is slowly sinking. I mean, just barely sinking. Yeah. And I haven't changed the hooks. You know, it's just strange how jerkbaits do different things in different conditions. So let's get down there a little bit below 6, actually. It's kind of hovering around that. Yeah, there you go. It's staying 6. I'm calling this 6 on mono. Yeah. So it really wants to rise up. I got a good return. This thing really shows up on the LiveScope. So 6-footer on mono. The Smithwick Rogue. It's a good one. Not that many people fish it anymore. It is still a good fish catcher. The colder the water, typically the better this sucker works. All right, next we got the Spro Mix Stick in the, I guess it's called PM Twilight. It's a pretty loud color. Good for staying water, actually. This is straight out of the package. Haven't modified it. One thing I typically do with these is I'll upsize the front hook. I'll put like a number 4 on there, because these do float out of the package most of the time. We're going to see what it does, though. We're throwing this on the mono. Okay, there we are. Coming in at about 4.5, something like that, maybe 5. See how it's wanting to float? This thing just kind of rises. If I just sit there, see how it's coming up? Just wants to rise. It's on mono. Fluoro's going to keep it down, but it's like floating fast. Anyway, on a long cast, I think, you know, if you got this thing suspending properly, it's going to get down there about 6. So let's try it on fluoro. That fluoro might slow it down as far as the way it floats up. Let's see what happens. All right, McStick fluorocarbon. There it is. It's down there about 6. I'm looking to about right in here. There we go. Let's see, it's not wanting to float up quite as fast because of the fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon's keeping it almost right. And we got a lot of stain in this water. There's a lot of particles, so it's not coming in really clear. You know, clear water, we'd be able to see this thing way out there, but there's a lot of particles in the water. It's kind of blocking this. So we're having to get it a lot closer to the boat to pick it up. But it's definitely wanting to stay down there about 6. And you can tell it's not wanting to rise near as fast. I mean, it is slowly rising, but nothing like it was with the mono. It's definitely staying down there quite a bit better. So, calling it 6, you're still getting an extra foot or so. The fluoro, pretty consistent across the board. The Spro McStick, one of my favorite jerkbaits. All right, folks, we have come to the moment, the final jerkbait. And we're going to be throwing the Strike King J300 Deep Diver. It's a Pro Blue, not that the color matters, but we're going to throw it on mono, 10-pound mono, Berkeley Trieve XL Let's cast this sucker out. This thing casts pretty good. I know this thing gets down really good. I haven't thrown it on mono, so I'm curious to see what it does. We're gonna reel it down. A couple cranks. Give it a couple taps. Tappy tappy. Oh yeah. Sucker's down there. There we go. Yeah, we're down there at 9. Almost 10. Yeah, 10. This is mono. So this is all the jerkbait. It's easily down there at 10 consistently. You know, and we're 45 feet out. And it's digging still. It's still wanting to get down. I've had this bait, fluorocarbon. I'm more curious to see what it does, but I've had it down there 11 and digging, and 12 at times. There's a fish down there. Yeah, look how it's staying down too. Even 30 feet out or so, still wouldn't stay down around 10. It got down to 11. That's on mono. The snap. So this sucker is truly a deep diving jerkbait. There we go. That thing hit a good solid 10, almost 11 on the mono. Stole it on the fluoro. Wrap this sucker up. I mean, is it going to get down to 12 on the fluoro? I mean, it should, theoretically. All right, here we go. This is the Strike King J300 on the fluoro. I'm making about a 70 to 80 yard cast, or 80 foot cast. Reeling it down. Jerking it a couple times. See if we can pick it up. Yeah, it's down there at 10. You can see it down here. 10 foot. This thing really dives. Starting to come up now. It's interesting, it didn't get that much deeper on the fluoro. It's kind of flirting with 11 now. There it is. Yeah, it's definitely down there. 12. We're at 12 now. Yep. The fluorocarbon's pulling it down, or just keeping it from rising. Yeah, we're 12. I mean, it's thinking about 13. Yeah, we're at 13 right now. So it's just slowly sinking. The more we let it in, you know, we're 35 feet from the boat. So it's digging. Sucker gets down, man. If you want a jerkbait that really needs to get down, throw you that Strike King 300D on some fluorocarbon. I mean, if you actually just let it sink, give it 30 seconds, I mean, you can get down there 15, 16 feet, no problem with fluorocarbon. So that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for coming along. I know this was kind of tedious, but hope you learned something. I certainly did. Seems like on the average, the fluorocarbon is gonna get your jerkbait down there a couple feet deeper, and it's gonna keep it down there a little bit longer as it gets closer to the boat. So once again, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Till next time.